Hi and welcome to my Beyond the Brim blog. And here is where you'll find that I talk about like my process and different things that I am passionate about. And this week's blog is all about your brand is more than just a pretty picture and pretty logo. And that says a lot coming from someone who does branding and logo design on the daily. And so what I've seen over time is that your story matters. And I'm sure you've heard that before, but you can have all the pretty logos and pretty brand package, and your Instagram can look absolutely perfect, and it can be crickets, and it can be totally baseless. And that's because your brand is your story and your vision behind why you started your business. And so I'm going to give you a couple of tips. The first one, tell your story and tell it all the time. So I tell the story of my great-grandmother was owned and operated the mines in Utah, and how women in my family are super important to me and that I honor their legacy. And that's a huge part of my brand story. And I tell that story all the time, and I probably should even tell it more because you never know who's going to read your brand story for the first time, even though it's the 25th time that you've told it. So tell it all the time. Be consistent. Consistency is key. And I'm sure you hear this all the time as well, but like being consistent, showing up at the same times, adding new product if you're a product-based business, adding new content if you're a content creator, but also adding it consistently, not just adding it for the sake of adding things, but being consistent to your brand, and constantly ask yourself whether something is on brand. And you won't be able to do that until you do the deep work of like finding what your vision and your story behind your brand is and why you do what you do. Third one is be genuinely you. So it's really important to show up as yourself. And I'm sure you've heard this many times. But people, especially nowadays, can like really see through the smoke and mirrors. And so this doesn't mean like share every aspect of your life. I think that we all know that Instagram and social media and just having a brand business online is definitely, I see it as not a fake version of myself, but an elevated version, like my brand story. And so it's not like every day of my life looks like this. I don't always like have it all together and, get dressed up for my branding photo shoots. Like those are special moments. And that's okay. That doesn't mean it's like fake. It's just a different version of me. And so with that being said, you don't have to share what you had for dinner, but maybe you share the behind the scenes of what you're making or what you're working on or things like that, or what's coming next. So that goes into the next one, share your work, and share those little moments. As boring as they may be to you, they're actually exciting for other people. So like things like sharing what you're working on next, sharing like I shared how my prints turned out that I was packaging up for an order. That's kind of boring to me. I love seeing how prints turn out and how beautiful they are and the color, and that excites me. But yet it's something that I just do every day. And so taking that moment to like take a video or just post a story about it actually makes a difference. People want to see that. And then, of course, having that consistency in your brand and your colors and your logos and all that, I would say that comes last, though. It's important as it is. Think of like brands that automatically that you identify with, like Home Depot, orange, right? Everything is orange. And that's important. Like they're not going to all of a sudden go and make something blue, because that's going to create brand confusion, because then, because Lowe's is blue. And so there's that contrast. And it's really important to have that consistency in that. But I will say that I think it's the icing on the cake, not the actual meat and potatoes of your brand. So with that being said, I hope that helps you with your journey to your brand story. Okay, until next time.